Good evening. So, this is going to be a kind of a follow-up to the one I did yesterday about how do you know when you're done with the drugs and alcohol. Um, I had an experience today that was a very solid indicator. Um, an associate of mine was extremely visibly, well, high as giraffe pussy. Pardon the vulgarity. Um, I don't know what particular method he used to obtain this altered state, but I know a nod when I see one. And it didn't trigger me. I didn't have any cravings. I didn't miss it. Matter of fact, it made me angry, somewhat embarrassed. Coworker, somebody I had kind of vouched for. Um, it's tough because I know what it's like to be there, but at the same time, I know I've also healed enough, and I'm confident and strong enough in my sobriety that I understand it kind of from the other side, and it's frustrating, it's disappointing because I know this person to be better than that. And I know that as an ex addict, once you reach a certain point in your sobriety and you do a lot of that inner healing and you truly start to obtain your fulfillment and everything from within, you genuinely practice self-love. You have the courage of your convictions to be the person you know you are in your heart. The toughest part about that is completely surrendering to that decision. Once you surrender to the decision to change and become better, the rest of it's actually pretty easy. Yeah, there's going to be hard moments. There's going to be tough times. You're going to cry. You're going to be angry. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to become impatient. Your emotions are going to be a fucking roller coaster, especially at first. About every 3 months, you're going to hit a period of stagnation or a plateau, and you're going to feel like you're not making any progress at all. And it's going to be very discouraging. I can honestly say that fades after about 2.5 years. But about every 3 months or so, and it's because your brain chemistry is starting to balance out. The nice thing is instead of having these really harsh swings, you'll actually have moments of like just pure depression every 90 days or so for about the first 9 months to a year. Those swings become less and less, and they start to get farther and farther apart. So, for the gentleman who has decided to better his life, seriously, it's going to be tough, but it's going to be worth it. Just don't quit before the miracle happens. You know, I've talked about my friend who relapsed. I have had other acquaintances relapse. I've become numb to death because I've known so many people who have died to this affliction. Oh, little statistic. The county I live in had 62 overdoses last month alone. That's one county in one state in 1 month. I personally have known well over 200 people who have died to this affliction. Most of them were people I met and knew in rehabs who had been sober for, a year, 2 years, few of them even 5 years. I stopped counting at 200 almost 10 years ago. That's kind of how I know I'm done with it. Because in the past, I would have heard those numbers and those statistics from somebody else, and I would have thought, yeah, well, I'm different. That's not me. Now it just makes me sad because it could have been me. It was me several times. I've died over 30 times. And by the grace of God, I'm still here. So, this particular individual, somebody I know, I don't know him as well as my other friend, but I know him. I've lived with him at the sober house in relative close proximity for probably at least a year. He, similar to other guys, was doing fine. And I think recently, I think one of the changes was his legal consequences were finally lifted. So a large portion of his accountability has been removed. The other thing was he has been chasing women in relationships. It's another form of validation. And it just goes to show you it doesn't matter who you're with, how much money you're making or not. If you don't feel fulfilled within yourself and you're not grateful for where you're at, you don't feel worthy of what you're doing. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you feel unworthy of it, as in you're making too much money or the relationship's too good. There is that side of it. But if you constantly have thoughts of, you're better than this, that's your ego. Now, if the thought is, I'm worth more than this, that's a little different. But if you literally say to yourself, I'm better than this, that's your ego talking. And that should be a huge red flag. So the point initially was, I witnessed somebody who was essentially high on what I perceived as my old drug of choice. At least he had all of the external signs. And it pissed me off, quite honestly. Not because I felt disrespected or anything like that. No. Made me angry because I know this person is better than that. I also felt partially responsible, I guess, even though I know it's got nothing to do with me. at all. And it was, one of my coworkers, somebody I brought to this particular job. So it's embarrassing, you know. Luckily, my supervisors and my boss know myself well enough, and they know this individual well enough, as well as this affliction, that they don't lay blame at me. As a matter of fact, they've told me on more than one occasion, it's not your responsibility, Chris. It's not, people make their own choices, and they do. So that's a very good indicator. Is if you see somebody under the influence and it just rubs you the wrong way and you just want to get away from them. That's a very good indicator that you are truly done. One of the things that a lot of the happens with a lot of people when they get into recovery is we get so acclimatized, normalized to the particular state of mind and that lifestyle that anything outside of that, it just seems, if you're brutally honest with yourself, scary. It's not that you're not capable of change. It's just unknown. How I got over that was I had to flip the script. I looked at it as mm, some grand adventure out of I don't know, a Huckleberry Finn novel. And that's kind of how I approach all life now. You know, yeah, it's gonna have its ups, it's gonna have its downs, obviously, but that's the whole point. The journey. So that's another good indicator. You just gotta want better for yourself. The hardest part about that is not that you don't, not that people don't want better for themselves, and not that addicts don't want better for themselves. As a matter of fact, they do. They just don't believe they're worthy of it. That's the big hurdle you gotta get over. Just because you've made bad decisions or mistakes doesn't make you a bad person. There's a difference. So, yeah, pretty potent eclipse, huh? Anyway, other than that, it was a good day. Got another baby eagle feather. See if I can find it. So many now. Oh, well, that's a turkey feather. Got this really cool scene on it. I love it. Love it. Oh, come on. Really? There you go. I hope I didn't lose it. Oh, here it is. Do-do-do-do. Bum, 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 bum. Side note, um, in the very near future, I probably won't be making these videos in my car anymore. Although honestly, I kind of like it. I think it's a little more personal. But and there may be there's definitely gonna be some format changings to the channel. I'm going to try to organize some stuff into playlists and this, that, and the other thing. and I'm potentially working on a collaborative project with one of my sisters. So there may be some more focused content coming up. We'll see how that pans out. I am working on setting up links for people who wish to donate. No, it is not a requirement by any means. I never expected that. If you do, thank you. Graciously, thank you. So, at any rate, yeah, have a blessed night.